Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining me tonight on Gay Mass. It is Wednesday, April 15th, 2015. Tonight, we're talking about several things going on in the gay community every week here on Tuesday. It's technically Wednesday this time, but anyway, Tuesday nights usually. I'm a little late tonight starting the show, but most people listen to the archives anyway, so no problem. If you are here and you want to talk to me live, you can call 214-3660. What the fuck is the number? Hold on. I'll look it up. I can never remember it. I've used the same one forever. But anyway, no one ever calls on the show anymore anyway. But I wanted to talk tonight about several things going on in the gay community, as always. By the way, if this is your first time listening to the show, you can always go to offlimitsshow.com. You can listen on iTunes. You can subscribe there if you like. You can also listen on Spreaker.com, also on Tunes, and also, of course, on the website, offlimitsshow.com, like I mentioned. So feel free to call in if you want. The number is 214-377-0481. That's the number. So feel free to call in and chat with me if you want during the show tonight. Otherwise, sit back and listen and enjoy. So there's several things I want to talk about tonight. There's a lot of things going on in the gay community here in Texas, of course. And as you know, or you should know, if you listen to my show on a consistent basis, Texas has similar laws to Indiana's laws against gay people and gay and lesbian rights, and are very precarious here in the state, this great fucked up state of Texas. In Texas, it's legal to fire someone based on their sexual orientation. It's also legal to deny lesbians, gays, bisexuals, and transgenders apartment housing or access to public spaces, as they call it, like parks or whatever, or restaurants, or if the business owner so chooses anyway. A lot of businesses and Fortune 500 companies in Texas have non-discrimination policies, and several communities in Texas, like Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, Fort Worth, Houston, and Plano, have local ordinances that protect gay and transgender people from workers from employers who discriminate. But there's several proposals currently before the Congress in Texas or whatever in Austin, 18 bills plus 2 constitutional amendments that are proposed right now in Texas that would strip away a lot of these non-discrimination policies and the rights that we've fought so hard for in this state, and would take our state back essentially in time to like a Jim Crow era with regards to treatment of those with different sexual orientation. 4 of these bills, which are backed by the Tea Party, by the way, of course, they undo local municipalities' non-discrimination ordinances that currently protect the LGBT community. 3 of the bills would enact restrictions and penalties on transgender people who want to use public bathrooms or locker facilities that don't match the gender identity listed on their driver's license. And 6 of these bills relate to restrictions on same-sex marriages, even though the state already has a constitutional amendment prohibiting that. And 4 of the bills would allow people, individuals, businesses, and organizations, the right to, based on religious beliefs or conscientious objections, as they call it, to discriminate against LGBT individuals and families. And so, as a controversial, as it is in Indiana, it would also allow businesses in the state to cite religious objections to refuse, to serve gay people. It basically creates a national conversation on this issue, and people should realize that Texas currently is proposing a lot of these bills that could be equally, if not more, harmful than Indiana's bills to LGBT families. And there's so much of this going on right now that it's mind-boggling and staggering how people are trying so hard, to curtail our freedoms and our rights. They have absolutely nothing to do with them anyway. The fact that we get married, or the fact that we have equal rights to see our loved ones in the hospital, or the same protections under the law that any other married couple has, does absolutely nothing to harm anyone else. And that is the true test of whether a law, in terms of civil rights, is going to be enacted or not generally. Generally it is that test, and that test has been discussed and debated in the Supreme Court, and they've decided that it is wrong. So ultimately, it won't matter, because ultimately, first of all, these things are all biased and discriminatory in nature, and they won't stand under the federal level and scrutiny of the Supreme Court. So it doesn't really matter whether people want to try to pass these bills or not, whether they even get passed, which they did in Indiana and other states probably, and trying to do so here in Texas. So it doesn't really matter whether they get passed or not, because ultimately we're going to win this fight. It's just a matter of time. But it is. I think back to people who have been fighting this fight their entire lives. People whom gay men and women and transgender people who are in their elderly years, 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever. And they've been fighting since the 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever, for equality, or, generally we're always gay, and specifically came out in the 60s and started fighting at that time most of the time. But whatever the case may be, they must be really fucking tired of fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting for something that that is theirs innately. And it's an inalienable right. So I certainly know how they feel to some degree. I feel so exhausted by it as well, because it's just like you're always beating your head against the goddamn wall, trying to, make people understand. But the thing I think people need to remember and realize is you're not dealing with people, rational individuals. If they were rational to begin with, they certainly wouldn't be behaving and thinking the way they do. It's not rational thought. And if it were rational, we wouldn't be in this situation in the first place. They vote based off of superstition and religion and beliefs, and nothing factual based in, on the humanitarian, or the humanist level. They base their beliefs on, outmoded ways of thinking, and that's it. And people, think that people like myself who are, whom abhor religion, are anti-religion to the point where we don't think other people should be able to believe what they want. And I think that's fine. People can believe whatever they want. They can say whatever they want, but they cannot curtail the rights of other people. They cannot take away rights from people that they were born to have, as a human being. I mean, these are human rights. These are civil liberties all people have, and that are being denied to a lot of gay people throughout the country. So this fight is certainly nowhere near over. It's certainly only in the beginning stages, and we're going to hear and see much more of this bullshit as we get more rights, because the more rights we get, the more equality we reach within the gay community throughout the United States of America, the more backlash we're going to have, and the more people are going to fight harder to try to stop it, because they're afraid of us. They're afraid of us, and that's really the bottom line. In Florida, Florida actually is banning or trying to pass a law or whatever that bans gays from adopting children. In that state, the Florida House Republicans passed a bill allowing adoption agencies to ban gay parents, so that gay parents cannot adopt, kids in that state, which, I mean, is so, first of all, completely selfish. And because these people are doing this, as I said, for their own personal beliefs and their own, bigotry. They're not doing it because they're trying to really, quote unquote, protect the children. They're doing it because because of their own belief system. Instead of allowing these kids, whom most are not going to even get adopted, most kids age out of the system, unfortunately, because there are so many that are not wanted, especially older children that have been there for a while. And because of that, they age out of the system. So these people would rather have these children whom, if through no fault of their own, are in foster care or in the awards of the state or whatever, to instead of being part of a loving, safe environment where they probably will be treated like royalty, especially by gay people, whom are going to, shower them with the love and affection and educate them and all the things you're supposed to do as a parent, the good things you're supposed to do as a parent, and keep them safe from harm. They're not going to do anything to them, and people who, the problem with this is a lot of people equate homosexuality to pedophilia, which one has nothing to do with the other. And I've said this before, pedophiles primarily, it's like 98% or something, pedophiles are white heterosexual males. The rest are females and there are gay people who are, of course, as well. But the majority of pedophiles, or 98% of them, are white heterosexual males, men. So those are the ones they should be afraid of, not the gay men and the gay women and the transgender people. They should be afraid of the heterosexual men, because statistically, those are the ones that are pedophiles, generally.